Blog Talk Radio.
You thought we were gone, but we're back. Guess what? You have landed on the 415. Congratulations. We needed a break, but we're back now. 415 is brought to you by the auspices of the House of Black Cat Magic, the great Dorothy Martin, the amazing Wild Hunt, yours truly, and the amazing Star Bustamante. Say hello, Star.
Hello, Star.
All right. The opinions expressed on this show are of myself and my co-host, and not a reflection of anybody but us. So be prepared for swearing, caring, and oversharing. We're going to be doing it. So it's been interesting. We had an election. I was wrong. Apparently I was very fucking wrong. Things did not go the way I thought they were going to go. I'm still kind of in recovery mode. You know what, though? I can't be mad at it. Here's why I can't be mad at it. I did everything I could do. I yelled at all the people necessary to yell at. I begged all the people necessary to beg. I made all the statements I could fucking possibly make. I think we did our bit for King, Queen, and Country, and, you know, certain sections of people decided that they were going to do what they were going to do. And it's not like, you know, the election didn't fall off the back of a truck. The other side won. That's it. And, you know, I think America is a lot more moderate than I thought it was. I will have to say, and I am probably going to get a quantity of shit for saying this, but I think somewhere along the line, the left has lost a little bit of its way. I think sometimes you can go and speak to things that only a small number of people relatively are interested in, and we didn't address some of the bigger issues. And now, unfortunately, because we didn't address some of the issues that most people care about, now we're all going to suffer. And the people who cared more about higher prices are actually going to find themselves paying double that because we were more concerned about everybody's rights than higher prices. And I think we're right about it, but apparently everybody doesn't agree with us. So am I? I mean, maybe we're wrong. I don't fucking know. But we didn't win, so we obviously didn't win for a fucking reason. What's your take on it, Star?
Well, I think that, you know, I am really tired of, like, these think pieces about, you know, voters on the right and how they're just misunderstood and we need to have some empathy and, you know, I'm sorry. Look,
that.
Well, the reality is this, okay? There is a large block of Americans that vote that have absolutely no earthly idea what the issues are, or, you know, that, you know, you and I, we follow the news. Like, we could like talk about Harris's, you know, what her policy platform was. We could, you know, talk about how Trump had a concept of a plan. You know, we could talk about Project 2025. And I think that, you know, first of all, the Republicans did a much better job of messaging. They figured out how to reach the people that they needed to reach. And, you know, and those people influence other people. But I also think that there is a large block of voters that they don't give a fuck. They don't know. They don't know nothing about nothing. And they weren't going to vote for some nice black lady. Okay? the bottom line here, okay, the bottom line here is that if you think that racism and misogyny did not have a major role in this election, you would be wrong. And also, that people don't give a fuck for the most part. They're like, I ain't vote for the black lady. I'm going to vote for this white asshole because he says my price of my eggs will go down, which, of course, they won't. But, so, I mean, you know, that's my take on it, okay? And I have heard, like, you know, I did about a 2 week just where I didn't read or listen to much of anything. And I do think that there is some truth to the fact that, you know, that there is this, you know, lower middle class and lower white people that feel, you know, they feel stressed out and that, you know, that their place is being taken or whatever. And now this is not to say that that is the reality, but this is how they feel. And so they respond very positively to Trump because, you know, they don't want to hear about no black people. They don't want to hear about no women's rights. They don't want to hear about trans rights. They don't want to hear about none of that. They want to hear about, you know, how coal is going to come back or whatever. You know, whatever their, you know, historically has been their demographic has where they've made their money, whether it's construction or coal or oil or, you know, or some other goddamn thing. They want to hear that those jobs, you know, that we're going to go back to 1950. Well, we're not going back. You know, even if it was possible, we're not going back. It's not possible. Basically, they're voting based on shit that is not ever going to fucking happen. What is going to happen is we're going to have a big fucking mess. Tariffs. They're gonna get a first-hand education on what tariffs are like, what that means, and how, you know, everything is going to go up. You know, if in fact Trump does put tariffs on Canadian, Mexican, and Chinese goods of 25%, okay?
Fucked. We are fucked if that happens. We are fucked.
So let's talk a little bit about that, okay? First of all, damn near everything that we fucking buy on a daily basis is either made in one of those places or has components that are made in one of those places. So, and then when you're talking about a 25%, okay, I work in retail, all right, okay, just give you a little example, okay, about, you know, I would say a good percentage of the items that I carry are either made in China or they have a, you know, a China component. Tarot decks, most of them, anything that is like a, you know, a major color print job, that's just all printed in China, okay? Now let's talk about what a 25% tariff looks like, okay? Because, like, people, I think, are very wrong in how they are perceiving what this is going to look like as it's passed on to the consumer, okay? So if I'm currently paying $5 for something, and my standard markup is Keystone, and I will just tell you that most places mark up way more than Keystone, and Keystone is just doubling the price. So if I'm buying a $5 item, I'm selling it for $10. Most places are going to sell it for probably $12 because they want to cover the cost of their shipping, right?
Yep.
So 25% increase in the cost is going to take that $5 item to $7.50, right? So the $10 item becomes now a $15 item.
Mm-hmm.
And keep in mind that most places do more than Keystone, so you could easily see, you know, that $5 item that I paid $5 for was charging $10 for, not just go up to $15, but easily double in price. Okay, And it all comes down to what the market will bear. How bad do people really want avocados? You know, how bad do they like to eat food, drive automobiles? You know, I don't know, heat their homes. You know, I think there is a huge misunderstanding that this is about knickknacks and shit that we don't need. But the reality is especially with Canada and Mexico, like the majority of our produce comes from Mexico, okay? The things that come from Canada are, lumber. I mean, if these tariffs go into place, it will literally impact every single person, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what you're trying to do. You could see the price of whatever it is you're doing double. Because by the time they have to, you know, deal with all of this, and plus, you know, then there's the whole thing of, like, Trump just, the last time he was in office, okay, he renegotiated NAFTA, which was a North American Free Trade Agreement, right? And now it's got some new dumbass name. I can't remember. But basically, if he puts these tariffs in place, he's violating his own fucking agreement, okay? And, you know, and his lame-ass thing of, you know, like, this is to stop the drug trade and the immigrants, you know? Like, what is Canada going to do about Mexico's border? And likewise, but also, like, you know, just like him talking about building a wall, you know, I mean, they found out the first go round that it's not so easy to build a fucking wall, and you know, and they destroyed all kinds of shit in the process. So, I mean, I'm about 50-50 on whether or not they'll actually go through with this, because I mean, it will destroy the economy, like, really, and the people that have to really, you know, just like with, there's nothing we can do about Trump, right? There's really nothing we can do about Trump. However, all these motherfuckers in the House and the Senate, they want to get reelected, okay? Midterms are in 2 years. You think they're not going to be worried about getting reelected? Oh, they totally are. And they're our best bet for leveraging, you know, I've got a prediction to make. You want to hear it?
Okay. I do.
Okay. So we already know, you know, Matt Gaetz, dipshit, pedophile extraordinaire, you know, that lasted way longer than I thought it would. Hegseth, he's already DOA. Okay, he's already DOA. He is never going to even see the light of day of a confirmation hearing.
The hearing, there won't be.
Which part of me thinks like, okay, so he made like all these really awful picks and was encouraged to do so that because I mean they're horrible and laughable in many ways, right? So I think it was just to soften us up so that when the real picks come into play, so it will almost be a relief. But they will be equally horrible, just not insane horrible. You know, I mean,
but
horrible then on the other,
opposed to laughable.
Right. Well, but I also think that, you know, I don't know that any of them are that clever. So, you know, I bounce back and forth. But again, with some of these picks, they're going to have a really hard time getting them confirmed because, as I said, senators and Congress people, they want to get reelected, you know? And if they're responsible for appointing somebody who fucking is going to tank the economy, take away your health care, and do a bunch of other shit that is immensely popular with people, you know, yeah, I don't know. So, you know, I don't see any of them really growing a spine, but, you know, also their margin in Congress for shit, you know, it's razor thin. it's going to be thinner than it was before. I think, they have a 1-seat majority or something?
I don't know. I still think that the spineless and the hopeless and the Trump ass-kissing has only started, and they will do what they are told because they are lemmings, because they are terrified of him, and they will follow him to whatever pit he drags them. I would be amazed to see if there's any pushback for who he really wants to install. I think it's going to be very interesting. I don't think these senators give two shits about their constituents. Quite frankly, I think they are ready to be on the Trump train and follow it wherever it goes. Truly.
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, there's already been some pushback, even from people like, Josh Hawley, for God's sakes. So, yeah, I was kind of shocked by that. I mean, another dipshit, horrible human being, but nonetheless. So, I mean, I don't know. I think, one of the names that have been talked out there for SecDef is, Joni Ernst. She would not be a terrible choice. Oh, I hate her. Yeah.
No?
Oh,
yeah.
It's been really wild to watch her transformation, actually, from when she was first elected to where she is now, both in her appearance. And, I mean, you go back and look at when she was first elected, and girlfriend, she has had some, she has had some dental work done. She has had like a complete fucking makeover. She doesn't look anything like she did when she first got to Congress. It was pretty hilarious. But that is neither here nor there. But at least she is not insane. Putting someone like Hegseth in that position is insane. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, every day that they announce someone else that he wants to put, I mean, for fuck's sake. I mean, he's put Charles Kushner, Jared Kushner's father, who is a convicted felon, or was until he was pardoned.
Right.
He's now the ambassador to France. We can only hope that, Macron trips him while going down a flight of stairs, and although I'm also holding out for. I think it would be lovely if they all gathered at Mar-a-Lago, and I've been saying this for a couple weeks. And then there was an asteroid that just took out like that part of Florida, and then like yesterday, I saw in the news that there were a bunch of asteroids that that actually entered the atmosphere. I'm like, damn, so close. But I digress. I mean, I think we have to continue to do the things that not only that we have always done, and that is, even if you have a crazy piece of shit like Tom Tillis as senator, whatever the fuck he is these days, you have to. When shit is pending, you call them and you say, hey, I'm in your district, you dirtbag, and I don't really like this, and I'm calling you to tell you I don't really like this, and I expect you to do your fucking job, which is represent me. And I think we just have to keep doing that kind of stuff, At best, it's fucking, we can annoy the shit out of them, right? And then, of course, from a magical perspective, there are all kinds of awesome tools out there for magical resistance. What the hell is the name of what's the name of the publishing company? It's a tiny one, but Laura Tempest Sackroff, she's the editor of, they've done 3 volumes. The first was Aradia, which was all magical resistance stuff, and then the Gorgon's Guide to Magical Resistance, and then the most recent one was the Serpents of Circe. Like that right there.
Go hit up LTZ. Yes, go find the LTZ and follow the magical resistance. Also, the writings of David Salisbury, also magical resistance. We have a lot of amazing writers in our midst.
Michael
magical
Hughes.
Resistance. Yeah, Michael
Hughes. It's going to be updated and released. I think Moon Books is publishing that. And he also has a group on Facebook. It used to be the Bind Trump group. It's now, I think, Magical Resistance. He was the first one to write magic for the resistance. And his book, in my opinion, is one of the best. But there's tons of stuff, and there's going to be more. There's going to be more out there. And so, if you're a pagan or a witch or someone who practices some form of a magical tradition, or you're just interested in it, there's like all kinds of fun stuff out there that you can do. Although I would like to point out, it's important not to ever hex the office or the position. I'll always target the person, because most offices, especially that of the President of the United States, has a lot of built-in protections against that kind of thing. Anyway, but that's definitely an option. And
that is an option. And while we're talking about magical writers, I would also like to mention the fact that the Wild Hunt needs all your support. Please check out wildhunt.org. It is the pagan paper of record. Give it all your support. It's full of good writings by good pagan people who do good pagan work. Please check out wildhunt.org and give it your support. I do it, you do it, we should all do it. We got to have it. Thank you. Commercial one done. All right. So go ahead on to the next thing, or I'm going to talk about the UHC shooting. I just need to mention it because I found it fascinating that this happened in Manhattan early in the morning. I'm just going to talk about it real quick. So apparently yesterday morning, on his way to his board meeting, the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of UHC United Health Group, or United Healthcare Group, was shot on his way to his big meeting in Manhattan. And apparently the bullets that he was shot with said deny, defend, and depose. So in essence, that is the lingo used when they are looking at claims in the healthcare industry, which is a very disturbing practice, but it looks, we don't have the ID of the person who shot him, although there are many pictures circulating, including some unmasked photos of the gunman smiling prior to the shooting at a local Starbucks, blah, blah, blah. We still don't have a definitive motive, although there are many guesses that can be made. Obviously, it was meant to intimidate, strike fear to a certain extent. I have some theories, but I'm not going to go into them because I'm starting the shit that I can prove. But I'm concerned that this is. I hope this is not the beginning of something that we're going to see, because this isn't the way to get anything. What are your thoughts?
Well, it was certainly shocking. It was clear that this guy lay in wait for him, and then shot him, and also. There was much made about this in the media that, he knew exactly how his gun jammed, and he knew exactly how to unjam it. So he was someone who was very familiar with firearms and their use. So that was kind of an interesting little tidbit there. I think that there's a lot of anger just in general in this country. People are angry. They are more angry than they are anything else. And that we are living in some pretty volatile times. And if you're going to make unpopular decisions that harm people and affect their lives in major ways, and certainly not getting, if this turns out that, he was targeted because of health care, which there seems to be the indication of that, then, I think we're going to see more of this. But I also think that we could very easily see more violence directed towards anyone who's in a position of power, which, this includes political elected officials. And, when people feel like their life has been ruined as a result of decisions that were made, especially when no care was taken, and we're already, the pot's already boiling over. I think you're going to see more stuff like this. Wasn't it inside jobs? Could have been. There are a lot. It's too early to even really. We could speculate, but we also don't want to be sued.
Which is why I'm not saying anything else about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So, but I do think that one thing that is true, and that we can safely say, is that a majority of people in this country are very angry for one reason or another. And when anger rules, it makes people irrational, and they make decisions that they might not otherwise make, and it's dangerous. We are living in some seriously dangerous and perilous times. Plus, any motherfucker can get a gun. Okay, I go get a gun right now. Yeah. It doesn't take anything, and you can buy a gun and modify it to shoot like a fucking gazillion rounds in a minute. So I think we're going to see more of this, and my only question is, when do we get to the tipping point of it being enough is enough, and what that'll look like? I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. That's just my opinion.
What I will say about that, in my opinion, is if the election had gone the other way, I think the violence would have been a lot more, a lot faster.
Maybe.
My feeling is that, and we take a lot of shit for being nicer and gentler and kinder and more thoughtful, as though those are bad things. But I think it serves to have a cooler head sometimes. Sometimes that gets taken advantage of. However, if a cooler head prevails and fewer people die because of it, that's not necessarily a fucked up thing. I would rather side with that. So I'm going to have to land on the side of, that's okay. It's all right. Cooler heads will prevail. But I will say this. When Republicans aren't in power, they wait, they plan, and they bitch, and they plot. And they wait for their turn to come again, and they get ready, and they don't just sit and cry about it. They get their powder dry, and they wait, and they get their shit together. And I would say that it would behoove the Democrats, of which I am one, to do the same, to look at where we have made mistakes. We have made them. Yes, we have. And focus on the messaging. Why is it that our message is getting through? Why is their message getting through? It can't be all about hate. there's something that we're doing that is just not ringing right. Maybe we're coming across as too pie in the fucking sky. I don't know what the fuck.
I do.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, first of all, they figured out a while back that, Democrats tend to use, like, all of the normal channels to get their message out. That's not where it is. They are not using all the tools available to them. Remember when Barack was running for office the first time and he didn't want to give up his BlackBerry? Remember that?
Yeah.
He was the first president and candidate that was, a big, like, texter and used his BlackBerry to do things, right? I mean, I think that, that Trump and company figured out a way to tap into, a lot of the social media. I mean, look, Elon took over Twitter just to help Trump, in my opinion, because, it's so bad. By the way, I still have an account on Twitter, but I have pretty much, Blue Sky has exploded. I love it. It's very much like what old Twitter was. It's great. I love it. But, that whole fucking place is proliferated. Like, Twitter is proliferated. I still refuse to call it X. Okay, it's still Twitter. It's proliferated with fucking Nazis, and it's disgusting. And, as soon as the people there were a handful of people left that I followed that were valuable to me, and the majority of them are now on Blue Sky. So I'm going to just check in, once a month so nobody else can get my fucking handle, because that would make me very mad. But, in an unbelievably short amount of time, Musk turned that place into, into a fucking Nazi bar. He did. And, I think that Democrats in particular are not good at looking at all of the options available to them when it comes to outreach, because they're not just usually talk. There are some who do talk to hear themselves talk. I don't think I need to name names on that. We all know. But, they're like, hey, let's write some policy and we're going to get these things done. And they're very much, more focused on the nuts and bolts of doing things than they are thinking about how it's going to play with their audience. They're not trying to, also, earlier when we first started, the fact that Kamala Harris had less than 3 months, really, she had 3 months to create a campaign, a platform, all of her policy, all of it. 3 months. She did in 3 months, which was nothing short of extraordinary. But, so, I think that is a huge piece of this that people just kind of overlook. They're like, oh, well, she was the vice president. She already, we knew where she stood, blah, 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 blah. But reaching the people that are, the alleged swing voters, I don't think there were that many swing voters. I think most people had already made up their minds long before. And like I said earlier, people they're going to vote for whatever they think, whether they know anything or not. And they weren't going to vote for the nice black lady. Okay? This is all there is to it. As for reaching the right people, I don't know. I thought that if you actually listen to their policy, to her platform, all of the down ballot like in North Carolina, down ballot Democrats did well. They all did well.
I know.
but one of the things I've heard is that, it was rigged, whatever, because how do all these down ballot races win? And, Kamala lost. There is one explanation, and I think that this is probably the correct one in many cases. A lot of people went and they voted only for Trump. They didn't vote in any of the down ballot races. They went in, they voted for Trump, and that was all they did. And I think that does explain that, because there's how many states where down ballot Democrats did fucking great. I mean, they did better in the congressional races than what they thought they were going to do. I mean, they shaved the fucking GOP's lead to like one seat. The GOP has one seat in Congress. Yeah.
I don't know.
But, so I don't think it's a matter of getting a message out. I think it's a matter of fucking willful ignorance. I think it's a matter of that people just don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. They're like, whatever, it'll be fine. And this is going to be a big wake-up for them. When they're paying $6 a carton for eggs, because guess what? Did you know about this also? So bird flu, there's a new strain of bird flu. It's been found in raw milk, which just made me laugh out loud because that's RFK Jr.'s thing, right? The whole raw milk, and there's too many regulations, and, he best hope a bunch of people don't die from the raw milk thing, which I don't think he's going to get confirmed either. I don't. But, yeah, there's another round of bird flu, a new strain, and which, for people who don't watch this thing, they may not even be aware. But, okay, bird flu has been like a thing for a while. Through, last summer, all through this year, there have been major outbreaks of bird flu, to the point that even backyard chicken enthusiasts have been warned to, about how to keep their flock safe and all of that. So the price of eggs, I expect the price of eggs to go up dramatically, because I think this next outbreak is going to be really bad. I mean, it's already looking that way. It's in milk. It's in raw milk. Just saying. So, if people care about prices, I'd say there's a really good chance that midterms, they're going to vote a bunch of fucking Republicans out. The Republicans that have endorsed this shit, they're going to vote them out. My opinion.
I hope you're right, because the alternative is that we're really just a shitty country. And stupid. Oh, well, we're totally a shitty country, okay, with our foundations in racism and misogyny, and the case that the Supreme Court heard yesterday, the Tennessee suit, transgender, healthcare rights and all of that. All you have to do is look at that, and it is one short step from it being, applied to, I don't know, women, because it's gender equality is what is the banner under, that it's under. And so, and if they say we're going to kick it back to the states, well, we saw how well that worked out for abortion rights. So, I mean, yeah, people have, but see, okay, you and I pay attention, okay? We pay attention. We know what's happening, and we try to tell other people. But the average person, they do not give a fuck. They do not give a fuck. They don't know. They don't care. They probably never even met a transgender person. They probably barely know any women. I'm kidding. Oh.
Sorry.
But I know what you're saying, and I get the point, and it disturbs me horrifically, because these are people I love. These are people I'm related to. I take the rights of others seriously, because human rights are human rights. The rights of humans are the rights of humans. It doesn't fucking matter, because once you limit anybody's rights, you have limited the rights of us all. And at some point, it reaches the oppressed. The rights, loss of rights of the oppressed will always reach the oppressors at some point, and they do not want to hear it. And it's like, you don't understand. The throat you are going for will eventually be your own. The person you are looking to hurt will eventually be someone you love. You may not see it now. It may not be happening now. But the history of the world will tell you that eventually the throat you cut will be your own. There is no way around it.
Yep.
Just read a little bit of fucking smart. That's all it takes. A little bit of history. That's all it fucking takes. Karmic wheel is the karmic wheel. What goes around comes around. Eventually. I may not be here to see it, but it will be the thing that happens.
Oh, I think you'll be here to see it, because I think this is going to be a pretty quick turnaround, because just wait. I mean, the price of if they put these tariffs in place, the price of everything's going to go way, way up. And a lot of people are not going to be able to pay their bills. They're not going to be able to eat. And let me just tell you, hungry people are some angry people. And Americans are used to, like, we're fat. We are fat people, right? I mean, fat as far as our appetite. You know, we like things. Think about this. Think about how much a cup of coffee is going to be. Because guess what? There ain't no coffee grown. The only coffee that is grown anywhere in the U.S. would be Hawaii, which is already fucking super, super expensive. Puerto Rico grows some coffee.
Coffee, yeah. Oh, shit. It's absurd.
But everything else, it comes from, it does not come, it comes from Mexico, it comes from South America, it comes from Africa, it does not come from the U.S. So imagine how pissed off people are going to be when they have to pay, you know, fucking $12, $15 for a cup of coffee. Oh, yeah. So you're going to fuck people over on their coffee and their chocolate. I expect a bunch of angry women. Yeah.
Oh, fuck with my chocolate. It's all over. Let me tell you something. My privileged white ass already avoids the Starbuckian shit like that, because I am not shelling out money like that for coffee, because even if I had it, that would be ridiculous. I don't have it. So that's one thing. I don't understand how narrow-minded and stupid people are. My whole thing was, if you knew anything about Trump at all, any alternative would have been a better alternative. How could you not? I mean, that whole, we don't know enough about her. No, but you knew enough about him, because he made it very fucking clear. Wasn't that enough? Knowing about him should have been enough. My shoe would have been a better choice. A dirty gym sock. How many times did you hear me say, I don't care if they put up a dirty gym sock, it's a better fucking choice than... Really? Really? We decided that no? Really? The misogynist rape convicted felon accused of rape? No? Not really. No. Not that was okay. We're going to be okay with that, huh? That was all right. Better than the ladies. We didn't want the ladies.
We don't want the nice black lady.
The nice black lady. And here's the reason I heard that people didn't want to vote for the nice black lady. And the reason I heard was because she was a prosecutor, and my black friends were like, no, she was a prosecutor, and my friends couldn't get with that. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Are you going to jail anytime soon? Are there some secret you want to tell me? And they were like, no, we just can't get with her because she's a traitor. And I'm like, what? Get the fuck out of here. You ain't going to jail. What is wrong with you? No, man, I can't get with that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, listen, I cannot understand your life. I love you. I'm here for you. I don't get it because I'm white. I fucking know that. Privilege. That too. And I'm here to tell you that I understand that I don't get it. And I'm not going to pretend to get it because I can't get it. But this dude is a much worse human being than she is. Can't you come across over to my side? No.
But he didn't have a weird laugh, okay? He didn't have a weird laugh. And you know, and he didn't put, he didn't.
He's a monster. He's a fucking.
Of course he is.
He's still not the monster. So
yeah.
why is?
Well, yeah. He'll be a lot better.
Why is her being? I don't understand, but I don't get it. Why is her being a prosecutor worse than him just being a fucking racist who wants to tell cops to go out and bust heads, and that cops should not have any fucking limitations because, they're going to really respect black men. I mean, I'm not saying all cops are like this. They're not. I know lots of really great cops, but there are cops that will take advantage. We know this already. So why are we risking, I mean, what am I missing, Star?
Well, you know, you can't have some nice black lady who laughs weird, who's a prosecutor. You know, you just can't have it. It's misogyny and racism. Okay, how many times do I have to say this? You know, I mean, that's it. I'm sorry that she was a prosecutor. You know, I mean, you know, maybe we should call Manny up and see if Manny has an answer to that. Because I really don't. You know, Nazi or prosecutor, gosh, I think I'm not going to vote for the Nazi. Just my opinion. But people, like, do you remember what I said the first time that this idiot was elected? I said, the one thing we got going for us is that the fucking American people are belligerent. Okay? There was no greater sign of belligerence than this most recent election. Okay? They're fucking belligerent. They voted for someone who's a convicted felon who admits and is proud of the fact that he has assaulted, you know, women. He doesn't pay his fucking bills. I mean, it's like you'd have to be dead not to know all the shit that he's, even half of it. But yet, people voted for him because they couldn't vote for the nice black lady who's also a prosecutor. And also, okay, let me just remind you, she has a really weird laugh, okay? Like, so, yeah, they couldn't vote for that, even though it would have meant, like, her policy platform was fucking awesome. You know, but, hey.
I know.
You know, so I hope they enjoy the next 4 years. And I hope they enjoy it in ways, and by enjoy, I mean be fucking miserable, okay? I hope that they, you know, I hope that every minute that Donald Trump is in office is, you know, a fucking minute of misery for them in every way. And that by the time we get to the midterms, that they maybe have an inkling of the error of their ways, and maybe they shouldn't vote for this rotten motherfucker again. You know, maybe. If not, then may their misery continue. But I mean, that's where we are with things. You know, I got nothing. I got nothing. And you know, the only thing I know to do is that I'm going to do the things that we traditionally do, which is we're going to irritate the fuck out of our representatives. Who gives a fuck what party they are? If they're my representative, I'm going to call them, and I'm going to annoy the fuck out of them and say, why the fuck are you voting for this? Don't be voting for this shit. You represent me too. You know, you dickless wonder. You know, do your fucking job. Do your fucking job, you know. Here, I'm calling you to tell you this is what I want. So, you know, I know you ain't going to listen to me, but I'm going to call you, and I'm going to nag you, and I'm going to write you letters, and I'm going to be just generally obnoxious because guess what? You work for me, motherfucker. I didn't elect you, but you still work for me. And so I'm going to call you every day. I send you letters, and I'm going to do it in a way that you can't come back and say that it's harassment because I have a right to tell you how you should be doing your job. So I'm gonna do that, and I encourage everyone out there to listen.
That's right.
Do it. You can send. Don't swear. Don't swear. You
Don't
should
swear.
not address them as Dickless Wonder. Okay, just to be clear. You know, dear Senator Tom Tillis, I would like you to do this thing or not do this thing or whatever. Whoever your representatives are. But yeah, you can write them a letter every day. You can call their office every day. They have someone that they pay to answer their fucking phone in their office all day long.
Right.
So I think we should all do that. I think that every time that we think of that asshole in the White House and all of his, fucking co-conspirators, I mean, in my mind, I just see a fucking asteroid incinerating all of them, okay, which is not what nice Christian folk will be thinking. But that's that's part of my meditation and visualization for the day. But there are plenty of tools available to us legally, our rights as citizens, and we need to just use those every day that we have them because, they could go away potentially. Yeah, I don't know.
And as long as we're able, we're actually doubling up on our shows. And in January, we will be going twice a month, no longer just once a month. So for 2025, welcome to it. You are going to be getting a double dose of the 415 for the foreseeable future, all through the Trump years. We are not letting up. We are doubling down.
It's almost like we knew. That's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we know that you're going to need a source of comfort, a source of information, a place that you can have somebody scream with you. That'll be us. So I
want to point out, if you're looking for a daily source that is way more professional than we are, but also includes swearing, I want to highly recommend the Daily Beans. The Daily Beans is Mueller, She Wrote, Allison, I forget what Allison's last name is, and it's freaking fantastic. She and her co-host are fucking awesome, and like they read the actual news and go, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, like they're hilarious. It's a great way to get the news that you need that is the most important for you to have without having, without wanting to vomit. And so like you can find them wherever you get your podcasts, you can find them everywhere. But I highly recommend that because they got their shit together. They're like us, only they're way more professional. And although probably not quite as hilarious, because we are pretty hilarious.
We are pretty hilarious, and we do this out of love. But we do very much care about our community. Very much. We may be as irreverent as fuck, but you got to have a sense of humor, and no matter what's going on, we try to maintain no matter what's happening. But on that note, until next month, don't forget about the Wild Hunt. Please give it all your support. Please visit House of Black Hat Magic because we all need to de-stress. Please visit DorothyMorrison.com for your Dorothy Morrison needs. And check out Desperate House Witches. Next week I've got a great lineup, but I'm just going to let you show up and find that out. And the following week is the holidays, so happy Yule, y'all. And we'll see what happens then. But for this month, I'm Raina Starr. I hope you all have a good one. Chins up. Try to keep moving forward. Say good night, Star.
Good night, Star.
We'll see y'all later. Have a good one. Blessed Yule.